Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. There we go. Good evening and welcome to OSU's 65th Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm Rob McIntyre, President of the OSU Alumni Association. Before we get started, we ask that you please silence your electronic devices. We would also like to welcome members of the Cowboy family watching online. This event has been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to see so many loyal and true Cowboys in the room tonight. I'm also grateful to see so many of you with orange name tags denoting your life member status with the Alumni Association. Thank you for your continued support as we deepen the pride and love in OSU. As we begin tonight's festivities, I have the privilege of introducing some very special people. When your name is called, please stand, and audience members, please hold your applause until the final introduction. We have representatives from the OSU A&M Board of Regents. We have Chair Trudy Milner, Rick Davis, and Calvin Anthony. We have OSU President Casey Schrum and members of the OSU Executive Team, Provost Jeanette Mendez, Blair Atkinson, Doug Hallenbeck, Kyle Ray, Dean Kuhn, Dean Kreutz, Dean Eastman, Dean Peterson, Dean Risco, and Dr. Johnny Stevens. Thank you all for being here tonight to support our inductees. Next, I'd like to thank our Alumni Association Board of Directors for their commitment and service. With them, I'd like to express our gratitude to the members of the Alumni Awards and Recognition Committee, whose names are printed in your programs. There are so many Cowboys deserving of recognition, and they had the very difficult task of reviewing all the nominations we received and selecting our final honorees. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to thank our Alumni Association staff for their tireless efforts making tonight possible. And to each of you, you're in for a wonderful evening as we honor and recognize 5 people who truly represent the very best of OSU. This time, it's my privilege to welcome to the stage the president of Oklahoma State University, Dr. Casey Schrum.
Well, good evening. It's so great to have everyone here and all the amazing orange and black. Today, I was on my way back from Oklahoma City, and I stopped at a convenience store, and I was standing in line just patiently waiting and thinking that I was blending in. And as I got to the front, there was a gentleman standing there who was the manager and the cashier, and he said, "We've just been standing here admiring your orange boots and your orange purse." I know you're surprised I was wearing orange. And he said, it takes a special person to pull that off. And I said, well, thank you. And I didn't say any more. And he said, like a presidential person? I said, yes. He said, well, will you take a picture with me? And I said, absolutely. So we were standing there, and he said, what is the best thing about being the president at Oklahoma State University? And I said, hands down, it's the people. We have amazing students and alumni. So it's wonderful to be here with you tonight to recognize 5 amazing alumni. Induction into the OSU Hall of Fame is the highest honor bestowed by the university. Hall of Fame members represent everything our current students aspire to be: hardworking, passionate, and loyal. All of tonight's inductees have dreamed big, and it shows in the numerous accolades and accomplishments. The Fergusons wanting to help feed the world, Hodges fighting for justice on a global scale, Massey supporting dozens of small towns and communities across Oklahoma and Texas, Pipestem protecting tribal sovereignty and the rights of Native Americans. Your work makes our world a better place and brings honor in distinction to your alma mater. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Schramm. Before dinner is served, I would like to invite Tina Parkhill, Chair of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, to share a few thoughts as well. Tina.
Thank you, Rob, and good evening, everyone. One of the goals of the OSU Alumni Association is to promote the accomplishments of Cowboy family members around the world who bring honor to Oklahoma State University. Since the first ceremony held in 1956, this award has been given in recognition of outstanding professional and personal achievement. Most importantly, though, it recognizes individuals who have achieved remarkable success while embodying the Cowboy Code and supporting university initiatives. These achievements bring honor and distinction to the university and increase the value of an Oklahoma State degree. To date, only 186 individuals out of over 277,000 graduates have been inducted into this elite fraternity. I am privileged and proud to introduce members of the OSU Hall of Fame who are here with us tonight. Will these individuals please stand as your name is announced? Bruce Benbrook, Wes Watkins, and Ross McKnight. Thank you again to all of you for being here tonight as we recognize 5 incredible individuals. Please enjoy your dinner, and the induction ceremony will start at approximately 8 o'clock.
Good evening, everyone. If I could have your attention, please. First of all, isn't it just great to have the OSU family back together to celebrate 5 of our own? How about a round of applause for tonight's entertainment? The Greenwood School of Music String Quartet. Weren't they fabulous? Well, this is a great OSU night, and I wish you good evening. My name is Larry Reese, and I have the pleasure of serving as your MC for this portion of the ceremony. Tonight, we have the honor of inducting 5 exemplary alumni into the OSU Hall of Fame. All 5 inductees have proven to be outstanding leaders with passion for service, community, and of course, Oklahoma State University. They each took different paths in their lives, but they all possess a strong work ethic, a loyalty that was no doubt shaped by their time here at OSU. As you will see throughout our video tributes, the 2022 inductees are the embodiment of what it means to follow the Cowboy Code. Our first honorees this evening met on campus at a place that now bears their name. How about that? It was 1975 when Kayleen Helms and Larry Ferguson met at OSU's Dairy Center. Their love for OSU eventually developed into a deep love for each other. And together, they have spent their lives nurturing the minds, bodies, and souls of everyone around them. They have given most generously to their alma mater, as we all know. And today, the Ferguson College of Agriculture, along with the Ferguson Family Dairy Center, stand to carry on the mission of educating and feeding the world. Please turn your attention to the video screens as we recognize our first honorees, Kayleen and Larry Ferguson.
impact Larry and Kayleen Ferguson have had on Oklahoma State University goes well beyond their name on the College of Agriculture. Their passion for education and willingness to support OSU will continue to shape the university for generations to come.
One of the things that you could draw from Fergusons is really a positive is regardless of your current situation to consider others. You know, both in business and not professionally outside of business, I've always known Fergusons to consider others. And, you know, that's easy to say, but it's pretty difficult to do because you can get wrapped up in your own space pretty quickly. And I think Larry and Kay have the skill of, always considering others.
They are the most big-hearted people that I know. And I say that not just because of the philanthropy, but just in getting to know them. They have a very strong faith life, and that really drives them. They also have a really strong sense of a calling, of being here to do something, to accomplish something, to help people in the world.
The Fergusons have never forgotten where they come from, even though they have both enjoyed incredible success throughout their lives. Those who know them will tell you Larry and Kayleen remain humble and modest.
Their upbringing, I think their upbringing really reinforced not only the need, but the value of hard work. And they've always been hard workers. And then second of all, I think that upbringing is then reinforced later in life, and that the drive has been maintained by their faith.
Larry and Kayleen Ferguson make a dynamic couple, and it's clear their strength comes from the bond they share and their ability to rely on one another. Anyone who spends time with the Fergusons immediately sees the balance they each bring to the relationship.
I think they work really well as a team. I don't know exactly how they always end up on the same page, but every time that I've had an opportunity to be around them both at the same time, they're always aligned and supportive of one another. I think they have broad interests, and they don't get too dug in on their views, and I think they just respect each other, and so I think it works really well. Kay and Larry have always been just a super team, and I think they operate really well together.
They're clearly a unit. They work together, they think together, and they bring different perspectives together into that effort. It's inspiring to be around them. It really is.
Larry and Kayleen Ferguson epitomize what it means to be a cowboy and a cowgirl. OSU continues to hold a special place in their hearts, and they continue to show appreciation and support for the place that brought them together as a couple.
Larry especially has always spoken highly of his experience at Oklahoma State, and more importantly, the role of higher education just in society at large. And I think he's a true believer that the amount and the quality of the education that you can get will lead to the way in which you solve problems and address life. And I think he attributes a lot of his path to success at Oklahoma State.
But I think OSU still means a lot to them because that's where they started. And also, I think there's a part of it that OSU represents, it's an organization that shares their family mission, helping to feed the world. As Larry's put it so succinctly, we have that shared mission.
An inspiration to anyone who meets them, Larry and Kayleen Ferguson have dedicated their lives to serving and uplifting others. It's a gift they've given us all, and one that brings distinction every day to their alma mater.
I think the Fergusons are deserving of the Hall of Fame honor because of who they are, because they have changed the world. They've clearly changed OSU, and that in itself perhaps is sufficient, but to me, they've also changed the world.
I think if you add those things all up, a love for OSU, a love for kids, a love for higher education, and a desire to share their abundance, it sure seems like a Hall of Fame formula to me.
Part of OSU's land grant mission focuses on enriching lives. And few have done that as well as Hall of Fame inductees Larry and Kayleen Ferguson. The impact they have made on their alma mater is already generating waves of change that will be felt globally for many generations to come. Larry and Kayleen Ferguson, 2022 Oklahoma State University Hall of Fame.
Let's make it official. Let's present for induction into the OSU Hall of Fame, Kayleen and Larry Ferguson.
Good evening. I didn't know I was going to be first to speak, but that's okay. What a celebration this evening is. I was putting a few thoughts together, and the first thing that come to mind is we're celebrating excellence in education, which Oklahoma State leads by a strong margin. Excellence in family, and that is shown by the number of family members that are here. Excellence in friends. And I say that because a number of our friends from across the country have come to be with us tonight. My education started, and I give thanks to my grandmother, Clara. She started teaching in a one-room schoolhouse. She pursued her bachelor's and then her master's, and then she raised 2 boys all at the same time. Education was part of their life. My dad and my mom, as you heard earlier, met here at Oklahoma State at the dairy barn, and they pursued education as a mission in their life. And they transferred that to their 3 children. My brother is a teacher. My sister Kendra, who is here tonight, she is a teacher. She just got her PhD from another competitive Big 12 school. We will not mention which one. And then I'm also a teacher by trade. So a 3rd-generation teacher runs in our family. So education was our job. We didn't have a choice. We were going to school. It was by choice that my parents came to Oklahoma State. Larry, on the other hand, is a 1st-generation college student. He has a different perspective. He came from a hard-working family. He wanted to do something different. He came to Oklahoma State, funded himself, and then pursued a career in the cheese industry, it turns out. That was very successful. But he knows the challenges that the 1st-generation students face today. He knows of scholarship needs. He knows what it means to work hard and get where you want to be with the help of others, with the help of everyone in this room. Tonight we also celebrate our family, and when I met Papa Ferguson, I had no idea what I was in store ahead. When I met Mom Ferguson, Irma, I knew immediately I was part of family. She gave me the biggest, warmest hug, and I think that's what students feel here when they come on campus at Oklahoma State. We continually hear what a feeling of family this body of people gives them. So Fergusons, you can share your stories with people at your table, but know Mom Ferguson is a blessed person in my heart. She taught me the meaning of family, how to love, and how to feed, at midnight when you drive in from a long drive. So there's all levels of that. And then the last thing is the friends that we've met along the way who've lived with us, parented with us, grew up with us, supported us, and traveled, just life together. And then it's my 3 sons, I'm honored to say, are all here, our 7 grandchildren. We are so blessed, we are proud, and we hope to raise some good cowpokes in the future. That would be it. Go Pokes.
Isn't she wonderful? She's easy to love. So you'll notice that we didn't compare notes because I'm going to repeat some of the stuff. But thank you, President Schrum, for such an outstanding award. And it's really a privilege to be recognized by the Cowboy Nation. And standing on stage tonight is very humbling for us. There are many here tonight that has been a part of our journey. Kay and I's brothers and sisters are here, and their families, and our children and our 7 grandchildren, who we do hope will be cowboys someday. Y'all listening over there. My high school classmates. While there's been a lot of years that have passed, we still have those bonds of youth, and they're very special for coming and spending tonight and taking their own personal time. Fraternity brothers that helped create a college experience that wasn't just going to class, as you can imagine. I got training on how to push the Hereford bull to Theta Pond. I hadn't used that much, but I remember it very clearly. Schreiberites, the people at Schreiber and associated with Schreiber have been just such loyal friends, and I have a deep affection for them. Even though I've been gone for several years, that affection for them will never fade. Church friends that have come and traveled many miles and shown up tonight. No different than they've shown up when we've had a need, and I so appreciate them coming and being a part of us, helping us celebrate tonight. We just really want to thank each one of you for being here and being a part, and we think so much about the Cowboy Nation, and I talked about our family and our friends, and our faith is very important to us. The center of the road has been our faith, and Joshua says in the book of Joshua, "For me and my household will serve the Lord." That has been our guiding light, is to serve the Lord. Our faith has provided hope for the future, because there's still work to be done in the future. The world is hungry, and the Cowboy Nation must do its part to feed the world. We must have a passion for research to produce more food and produce it more economically, and train the brightest students to accomplish this mission. President Schrum, thank you again for this outstanding recognition and your kindness, and we so appreciate it. Go Pokes.
Larry Ferguson, on behalf of Larry's Everywhere, thank you for making us look good, okay? I appreciate that. And I've always wanted to meet someone that pushed the bull into Theta Pond, so I may need your autograph here in a little bit. That's exciting stuff. Our next honoree is a textbook case in what it means to be a well-rounded cowgirl. Helen Hodges grew up on a farm, the daughter of 2 Oklahoma A&M graduates, and it was her father who encouraged her to major not in agriculture, but in accounting. When she wasn't studying numbers, she was learning to soar with the Flying Aggies. That love for the open skies, combined with her accounting and law degrees, took her to many places, most recently San Diego. Her expertise as an attorney has earned her a list of accolades as long as the turf inside Boone Pickens Stadium, where she can often be found cheering on her Cowboys, and we appreciate you for that. And with the help of her latest contributions, the performing arts scene at OSU has come alive through her patronage of the McKnight Center. Please turn your attention to the video screens once again as we recognize our next honoree, Helen Hodges.
Helen Hodges epitomizes what it means to be an OSU cowgirl. Though life has taken her far from Oklahoma, she continues to hold a special place in her heart for her alma mater and the relationships developed here.
Well, many people come into our lives, all kinds of friends. We have friends for a season, friends for a day, but then there's that very special one that's meant to stay, and that's Helen Hodges to me. Helen has been a great friend my whole life, over 50+ years.
When you met Helen, you knew exactly where she was coming from and what she was thinking, and she told you that. And really, we had a great relationship over the 25 years. It was always professional, and she's a consummate professional.
Hodges grew up on her family's farm outside of Hennessy, Oklahoma. The work ethic and passion for knowledge she learned at a young age has helped propel her to the incredible professional success she has achieved.
Our senior year, Helen was predicted or nominated and voted most likely to succeed. Yeah, go figure that. So anyway, she's always been that kind of person. She's always been serious and studious and just, you know, just a all-around good person.
There's no limit to what education can do for you. Can take you from humble farm background in Hennessy, Oklahoma, to the pinnacle of success in the legal field.
Anyone who spends time with Hodges will witness how driven she is to be successful, no matter the task. This drive can be seen in her professional success, but it can also be seen from her time in high school performing flute in band.
Yeah, I think a driving force behind Helen's success and just her sheer willpower to be the best at what she does. I never could overcome her at first chair on flute. I was always second chair. I mean, she just, everything she does, you know, she goes all out and she does it right.
She would get on a case and it, you know, I don't know if it was like a dog with a bone. She just wouldn't let it go. She would pursue discovery relentlessly and wouldn't take no for an answer, and just followed up on everything. You can imagine all the big banks and Enron were fighting us for, you know, any and all discovery issues, and Helen just never took no for an answer and followed up.
Hodges has never forgotten the impact OSU had on her life and her career. She still bleeds orange for her alma mater and continues to give back to many different areas within the university, including the state-of-the-art McKnight Center for the Performing Arts.
And she says every job she ever had was because of her accounting degree that with the law firms. And she said that was what was so important, and that was OSU's background. And her parents were very involved in OSU. And so Helen has given, for the academics, athletics, and the arts at OSU. She's a AAA hitter. So she's given to all three at OSU and believes in all of them.
She just really thought the world of the university, and so she's always tried to get back to it. And it's kind of great to see her put her heart and soul into it, and really keeps her connected to Oklahoma, even though she's been out in California for so long.
Hodges' friends, co-workers, and her OSU family all swell with pride when talking about the impact she's had on their lives and the lives of others. The time and resources she's invested throughout her life have propelled not only OSU, but also the state of Oklahoma to even greater heights.
Transformative, because that is, we use it way too much, but the things that Helen believes in, she helps to transform. She wants to know where she can help, whether it's in scholarships or in athletics or at the McKnight Center. She's just supportive of anything in the university, but she wants it to be the best. She wants the state of Oklahoma to be the best. She'd be a wonderful regent, Helen, if you see this. Move to Oklahoma so we can get you to be a regent. Wonderful, talented, intelligent, transformative human being.
The first word that comes to mind with Helen is loyal. Loyal to a T. She's the kind of friend that you can have and you can trust, and she'll never say a word. She will listen to you. She will give advice if you ask it. And I say loyal, and it's not just to me. It's to animals. It's to music. It's to OSU. It's to Cowboy football. It's, to the McKnight Center. It's just, that's the true value of her is her loyalty.
Although Hodges' journey has taken her halfway across the country, her roots still lay in the Oklahoma soil. Her impact has gone far beyond the bounds of Stillwater. And for her success and generosity, she is celebrated with OSU's highest honor. Helen Hodges, 2022 Oklahoma State University Hall of Fame.
Let's make it official. Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the OSU Hall of Fame, Helen Hodges.
I have to first thank Larry for getting my notes up here. Perfect. I want to thank the Alumni Association for having us all here this evening. This is a lovely, lovely occasion, and I know a lot of people put a lot of time and consideration into having us all here this evening. I also want to thank each of you for coming this evening. I'm honored by your presence. As my classmate Steve Stevens said at our graduation from OU Law School, never forget where you came from. And with that, he took off his black mortarboard and he pulled out a bright orange mortarboard and he put it on his head. Safe to say, I've never forgotten I'm from OSU. A long time ago, I even had a bumper sticker that said, Oklahoman by birth, cowboy by the grace of God. I'm grateful for many things, and I want to share some of them with you. I'm grateful to have grown up on a farm about 65 miles west of here, in a home that had the conveniences of running water and electricity added after my parents moved into it. I'm grateful for parents who graduated from this university and who valued education. I'm grateful to my first grade teacher for teaching me to read, and at the same time she was teaching 3 grades in one room. I'm grateful to my high school English teacher, Ms. Anderson, who required that I learn how to diagram a sentence. Came in handy. I'm grateful I took my dad's advice to pursue a degree here that would get me a job. I was over in poli-sci pre-law, and he thought I should be in the business school. I'm grateful to Attorney Bob Barr, who counseled me right before I went off to OU Law School. I'm even grateful to the law firms in Oklahoma who rejected my job applications. Let me tell you, that's a long list. I'm grateful that Mike Turpin at my law school graduation gave this advice. He said, do the best job you can at whatever job you get. And his advice resonated with me because I didn't get the job that I wanted out of law school. Nope. The job that I got was with the accounting firm of Arthur Andersen. My degree in accounting from OSU has helped me get hired and perform in every job I've had, from Arthur Andersen to clerking for the federal judge who had the Penn Square cases, to working for a firm in San Diego that did securities class actions. My accounting degree from OSU provided me the tools for success. Beginning about 20 years ago, I was privileged to be on a team of lawyers who represented Enron investors. We worked very hard. We recovered over $7 billion for those investors. And after the Enron case wrapped up, I started coming to football games at Boone Pickens Stadium. And thanks to my friend Scott Sewell, that's how I met Ross and Billy McKnight. I decided it would be fun to have my own suite at the stadium where I could entertain family and friends. I love spending time with my given family of cousins and my chosen family of friends at the stadium and more recently at the McKnight Center. I especially enjoyed hearing the New York Philharmonic play our alma mater at the McKnight Center. And nothing is better than watching our Cowboys beat OU. Go Pokes!
Amen to that. And since we have Ross and Billy here, I've got to work on how I say McKnight Center. It's the McKnight Center. I heard you, Ross, I heard you up there. I've heard you before. I'm going to start saying it like you say it. The McKnight. Is that how you say it, Billy? The McKnight. She says no. But the McKnight Center. Let's give them a round of applause because that has changed Oklahoma State University and Stillwater, Oklahoma. Thank you both. We love you. Thank you for being here for Helen and all of our inductees. Our fourth honoree is well known to many communities across southern Oklahoma and North Texas. When Durant native, I don't know if I need to say Durant, we talked about that earlier, native Greg Massey chose to attend OSU, he said it was mainly because of the reputation of the College of Business. Little did he know that several decades later, that college would recognize him as one of its top 100 graduates of all time. During his 31 years at First United Bank and Trust, Greg has helped transform the lives of countless families and communities throughout our state, and through it all, he has continued to serve his alma mater in numerous ways. Once again, please turn your attention to the video screens as we recognize our next honoree, Greg Massey.
Greg Massey has spent his life going the extra mile for his alma mater, First United Bank, and the community of Durant, Oklahoma. His love for his roots and those who have impacted his life are things that carry Massey to this day.
He's always trying to learn and to be a better person. You know, he's always trying to improve his business. He's always digging into his faith. I just wish I had the drive that Greg has.
You know people from a young age are going to be successful, and I felt like Greg would be that one of those people.
Massey grew up in a loving household. which helped shape him into the man he's become both professionally and personally. The influence of his parents is something that can be seen by anyone who starts to spend time with him.
He's very, very blessed to have John and Marion Massey as parents. You know, we get to choose our friends and we get to choose our spouse, but you know, when it comes to your parents, you get what you get. And he just hit the jackpot with John and Marion. They taught Greg the love of the Lord. They'd instilled in him values and to love unconditionally.
In addition to the professional success that Massey has experienced at First United Bank, he spends a lot of time focusing on making a bigger impact in the community that he calls home. Massey never misses an opportunity to take the time to help those in need.
And to see the impact he's had on his team at the bank, that in turn, tenfold take that to their communities, that's probably one of my favorite moments of seeing him succeed at that high level.
Working with Greg for all of these years, I tell people, you know, he's believed in me more than I think I've believed in myself. He's constantly, and I see it with other people, not just with me, but, you know, pushing others to be that best version of themselves. And, you know, always encouraging us to learn something new, to try a new position inside the bank, to take on something bigger than we think we're capable of doing. And so I've always just appreciated that push and that encouragement and that, you know, just that I know he's rooting for me.
Massey also holds a special place in his heart for Oklahoma State University and the time he spent there. America's brightest orange is always nearby when Massey enters the room or a conversation.
Some folks are just it's all athletics, and athletics is incredibly important, but it's about the education and developing people, right? And what he's done with the business college and full facets across the spectrum of the university, it's got a big place in his heart, and it's one that I can't think of probably very many people that whole loyal and true moniker fits better than it does for Greg.
From sharing stories of how he has grown and changed from his time there at OSU to encouraging students from OSU, but also any student to be active in their university and in their education. And I think that pride that he built there, you know, as being a part of OSU is something that continues to carry on.
The bigger picture is always on Massey's mind as he works to leave the world a better place than he found it. Through his drive and his faith, Massey continues to live a life that his family and friends can all be proud of.
My first choice of words to describe him would be passionate. You know, he's passionate about the Lord, he's passionate about his family, he's passionate about First United Bank, and he's passionate about OSU.
Greg being inducted into the Hall of Fame at Oklahoma State, I think is incredibly appropriate. You know, I would think the foundations there of impacts on society, impacts on the university, those that attend the university. You know, Greg checks all the boxes for the way he's lived his life and the way he's developed others. He's left a huge wake in his presence of good.
Massey's impact can be felt across the state of Oklahoma, from Durant to Stillwater. OSU's highest honor is fitting for someone who truly lives his life by the Cowboy Code. Greg Massey, 2022 Oklahoma State University Hall of Fame.
All right, Greg, here we go. Let's present for induction into the OSU Hall of Fame, Greg Massey.
I've dreamed many days to have Larry Reese say my name. I thought I'd be in Galbraith, Iowa Arena I thought he'd say I was 6'4". But thank you, Larry. Been a good friend for a long time. Thank you. It's an unbelievable honor that never would thought I would be here. To give you maybe a better sentiment of that, OSU should not be honoring me tonight, but I should be honoring OSU. Absolutely the best decision I ever made is 40 years ago. A good friend of mine was being recruited to play football here. I'd already signed up to go to a college south of here, had never been to Stillwater. Been going to OU games my whole life. Came up here one time and fell in love with it. And it was absolutely the best decision I ever made. The second best decision I ever made was join a fraternity called Sigma Chi. It was so nice of Jim saying all those nice things about me. I have a lot of pictures of him. That's where all that came from. You know, the most interesting thing about him, he grew up in Oklahoma City. I grew up in Durant. We were roommates. So I showed up in Wranglers and boots, and my dress wasn't very good. And, you know, he was kind of the cool kid. So I'm getting ready for school one day, and I put my Journey concert T-shirt on. He looked over at me, he goes, "You're not going to wear that to school, are you?" So he helped my dress, and moved me forward. The third greatest thing I did here in Stillwater was go to work for Stillwater National Bank. And I balanced my time between school, fraternity, Eskimo Joes, and other things. I became the repo guy there. My good friend here, Kyle, is here, and we learned to go repo a car. Back in those days, you could hotwire a car and steal it. That time was in the mid-'80s. We learned how to repo mobile homes. Incredible experience. Dr. Gary Simpson was my college professor here, head of finance. I can tell you today, I would not be the banker I am today without Dr. Simpson. You know, when I was here, I dreamed to be an entrepreneur. I never thought I'd be a banker. I just got a job at the bank and something to do, something to pay the bills. What I found in banking was truly something that I have passion about, of helping other people. Loving, caring for people, loving and caring for communities. Had the opportunity to work with my dad for the past 30 years. He taught me a lot, encouraged me a lot, and we built a great company. You know, it's interesting, when I got there years ago, it felt like it was my dad's bank. At some point, it felt like it transferred to my bank. But when we really realized it was God's bank, that's when special things started happening to our company. We talk about spend life wisely. We talk about empowering other folks. We talk about faith, community, high performance. But at the end of the day, just helping your fellow neighbor. It's been an unbelievable journey the past 30 years of trying to do my best every day to help someone else. A good friend of mine bestowed an honor not long ago, and I called him and congratulated him. I said, "You know, hard to believe what you've done in life." He said, "Greg, when you show up every morning and do what you're supposed to do, it's pretty easy to be overrated in this world." You know, the most important job that any of us can do in life is raise our children. I have 3 wonderful children that are here tonight, Blake, Rook, and Corbin. I can tell you, I cannot take the credit for raising them. I have the most wonderful wife that has truly made a difference in our home. Thank you, Kay. Love you. My mom is also here. I would say she's done a wonderful job, but there's been nights when Kay's looked at me, she says, "I'm sending you back home for your mom to finish raising you." You know, it's interesting about the balance between my professional life and my home life and my cowboy life. It's something that we talked about a minute ago, is the cowboy code. See, what's different about our organization is this thing called family. It's about doing what's right. It's about community. It's about relationships. And that's the same thing that Cowboy Code's about. So thank you. It's a great honor to be here. And thank each one of you for being here as well.
I was so impressed with Greg's love for Oklahoma State. And then he also said he loved to be the repo man. So, okay. I don't know if that lessens the, I don't know. All right. Our final inductee of the evening has perhaps, no doubt actually, the best nickname of any of us here, the Osage Iceman. That sounds tough. Wilson Pipestem grew up watching his father and grandfather advocate for Native people, and he knew at a young age that was his destiny. His athleticism on the track earned him a scholarship at Oklahoma State University, but it was his intellectual abilities that propelled him to Stanford, where he earned his Juris Doctorate. Wilson's entire career has been spent fighting for the American Indian, including his work as lead counsel during 11 years of litigation in Osage Nation versus the United States. He's renowned for keeping his composure, but we know him as a warm and witty individual whose tireless efforts have brought voices to the voiceless and justice to the persecuted. Please turn your attention to the video screens as we recognize our final honoree this evening, Wilson Pipestem.
Wilson Pipestem has spent his career serving as the voice for those who feel like they're not heard. He has devoted his life to helping fellow American Indians in Oklahoma and beyond through passion and hard work.
I was very impressed with him as an attorney. He has always been a model, I think, for other Native American attorneys, and just one of our law leaders in the field of the practice of federal Indian law.
Wilson has a unique gift in that he is able to connect with people on both sides of the aisle of all walks of life. And I think it shows in the work that he does that, that he's able to share a lot of the most important needs that come from Indian country and find allies in places that, I think many would deem unlikely.
Pipestem grew up watching his father, Browning Pipestem, pave the way as one of the first influential lawyers in Native law. The inspiration he felt from looking at his father's impact greatly influenced Pipestem's career after graduating from both OSU and Stanford University.
His father was a groundbreaking attorney here in the state of Oklahoma, and so Wilson picked up that mantle and has acquitted himself quite well in carrying on his family's tradition.
The name Pipestem was not new to me. When I first met his father, Browning Francis Pipestem, you have to think of sovereignty of tribes. Browning was such a phenomenon in bringing sovereignty and awareness to the Indian world, not only in Oklahoma, but all Indian country.
Pipestem now serves as an incredible inspiration for Native youth in Oklahoma and beyond. His professional standing and passion are evidence for many youth that success is attainable through hard work and dedication.
It's so important, and I'm so thankful to Oklahoma State for doing this, because our Native youth need to see the work that Wilson Pipestem has done. and to understand that they can be anything they want to be without limitation, and that they can change the world, and they can be the next Native person inducted into the Oklahoma State Hall of Fame.
And I think what Wilson offers to Native youth is an example of how you can be a highly respected professional, but also make a difference for Indian country on the grand scale of, working to secure the passage of legislation through the United States Congress, as well as on the community scale in terms of just representing families in the community to ensure that their children aren't taken away from them.
In addition to the love Pipestem feels for the entire state of Oklahoma, he also looks back fondly on his time at OSU. His alma mater continues to be one of the top institutions in the country educating American Indian students.
He is one of the biggest cheerleaders that I know for his friends and for his school. And he's unthwarted, he's unashamed, he's a cowboy. And he is going to make sure that you know that you can do whatever you're willing to put the work in for, and that if he can help you, he's going to be there. And those aren't just words.
Pipestem's success, both personally and professionally, is only matched by his humility. Those around him see the passion in his eyes for everything he stands for and are proud of everything he's accomplished.
I've had the opportunity to travel on the national level at national gaming conferences, National Congress of American Indians, and always Wilson Pipestem, his presence there is very well known and what he contributes to different organizations. Just his knowledge and what he stands for. And his presence always just brings the assurance and that quality of background, his stature.
The amount he is willing to give back to the community is something that I think if everyone graduating from OSU did that, the world would be a much better place. In fact, if everyone did that, the world would be a much better place.
Wilson, your family, your children and I are so proud of you.
Pipestem's lifelong mission to defend and uplift those who need it the most is a calling to be celebrated. For the impact he's made on the lives of fellow American Indians, our state, and our nation, OSU is proud to recognize him with its highest honor. Wilson Pipestem, 2022 Oklahoma State University Hall of Fame.
This is big. For induction into the OSU Hall of Fame, Wilson Pipestem.
Well, friends and relatives, I just thank you so much for this honor, and I just want to thank everyone that had a role in this dinner, putting it together, everybody that worked, everybody that cooked, everybody that put some effort into this wonderful occasion, particularly those that had to deal with the Pipestem family getting ready for this, to be honest with you. We said we needed another table this morning, so they were still hustling around for us, so I really appreciate that. But, you know, when I think about and just being in the presence of these other honorees and seeing all that's gone on today and hearing these stories, it reminds me of the time when I was younger, when my father Browning, who was mentioned in this video, we were driving. He used to put me in the car with him, And he would have to go to court, or he'd have to go to a tribal council meeting, or he'd have to go give a speech. And he used to take me with him, whether I wanted to go or not. So lots of time it was just up the road at the Oto Missouri tribe or the Osage Nation or different tribes across Oklahoma, but he would put me in there and he'd say, you're going with me whether you want to or not. And I used to think, gosh, it's a long way, but he'd have me read cases to him along the way. And, you know, he used to say one time, he said, son, you and I were born on a battlefield. That's the way we're going to have to be. And so I would read cases to him, and I was, 12 years old, and he would say, what do you think that means? So that was my first education into this. And he said, I'm trying to create a place in your mind for things like justice and things like sovereignty that you'll understand them. And so when I got to Oklahoma State, I can remember when I visited, and I graduated from Norman High School in 1987. So a lot of folks I went to high school with said, why would you ever want to go to OSU of all places, But when I visited here, I was thinking about different colleges. I was going to run track, and I wanted to take my best opportunity in sport. But I knew this was part of my journey, was to be an advocate. And so I got here, and when the first time I visited Oklahoma State University, I knew I was home. And I want to thank Coach Weiss, who was not able to make it here. But I can remember I thought I trained hard in high school. I got to Oklahoma State, and we upped the volume of work, and the intensity of work was so high. My old teammate, my relative, Donnie Childs, is here. He knows about this. We'd meet at 6:10 in the morning, 3:20, then you had to lift weights and all that other sort of stuff. But one of my memories of being in Oklahoma State is being sore all the time, physically sore the whole time I was here. But the lessons we learned, I can remember going to class, and I decided when I was a young person I wanted to be an attorney. And so learning how to write and read and analyze and write persuasively is a skill that I knew was necessary. So I decided to major in English. And I can remember the rigor of our classes. I can remember things I learned. And even today when I'm writing and we're trying to get something exactly right when we're putting together a brief or some other legal writing, I can still remember lessons I learned at Oklahoma State. And so the time I was here, I just was so fortunate to be wrapped with people who were supportive of me. I want to thank Dr. Pete Koser, who's here. He was the head of the Native American programs, and I would go by and see him all the time. And he was always encouraging, and he was always a voice to say, well, you might want to try this, or this resource is available to you here at OSU. So we have a long relationship that has continued on since OSU, since the time I was here. My sweet advisor, Margaret Nelson, I still remember her. She helped me get through what classes to take and how to do this in the most efficient way. And she was the kind of person you could go visit with her, and she would always give you far more time. She wanted to hear about how I was doing here. And so I'm just so thankful that the people at Oklahoma State, Dr. Ron Beer, many of you may remember him, he was so encouraging to me. And so my time at Oklahoma State was marked by creating the opportunities for me of my lifelong goals, which I'm blessed to say I'm living that today. But today my inspiration comes from my family. And I'm so pleased to have so many friends and relatives with us here today. Again, we had to get 7 tables here today, so I thought one of them was this morning. We're still trying to work around to get that. But my brother, who's not able to be here, Rock, he's quick to pray for me, quick to minister. And my sister Veronica, who's here, she's my wealth. Our Osage people, we say that a wealthy person is a person with a sister, and I understand that. And I just want to thank her. And each of my kids who's here, my youngest, Kayla Rain, she's got the world open to her. She's 13 years old, but she might be on the equestrian team at Oklahoma State one of these days. And my daughter, Matea, who is beautiful inside and out and smart and such an encouragement to me from everything she does. And so my boys who are in college, unfortunately, they're on the East Coast and the West Coast. I was concerned they might not be able to make it here today. But sure enough, about 1 a.m., they made it in together. And so, then they got to fly out tomorrow morning because they got other things to do. And, but I'm so thankful for Parrish and the leadership he provides in our home about healthy eating and about exercise and his remarkable ability that he's a computer science major at Stanford and he's doing well there. And we're proud of him. And my oldest son, Truman, he's a person of uncommon kindness. He's majoring in humanities at Yale, and he wants to be an attorney one day, which I've tried to discourage repeatedly, but he seems to continue on. But I really want to thank my wife, my virtuous wife, who has been my partner in this work for many years now, and just went so far. You saw my wife speak on this video. That's who she is, and I just want to thank you for your support in our partnership and this family and our work together. But I just want to thank OSU for what they've done for me, the time I was here, the growth that I had here, my opportunity in sport, which, I had dreams of the highest level of sport, and Oklahoma State is a place where you can find that. The highest level of sport, you can reach that at this school. Now, because of injuries, I never reached that goal. But I realized that the Lord had something bigger in store for me, that my ability to be here and to have my school paid for in part through cross country and track was just part of a larger plan. And Oklahoma State was a part of that plan, and I'll be forever thankful for that. Thank you.
It was so much fun to watch the Pipestem family down here because they really enjoyed those old pictures. I mean, there were some belly laughs over here. But then when it got serious, there were a lot of tears because you can tell how much your family loves you. And I love what you said about Oklahoma State. I think we are a family, and it's a family of encouragers. When you're on this campus, when you come back to this campus, it's a family of encouragers. And I think we're just fortunate to all be part of Oklahoma State, and that's the way I feel. And on behalf of the OSU Alumni Association, I would like to thank the Alumni Awards and Recognition Committee for their diligent effort in selecting the members of this year's OSU Hall of Fame class. I'm from athletics. I'm saying that's a heck of a starting five we just inducted tonight. Wouldn't you agree? Let's give it up. So following our ceremony here, our inductees will be available in the Traditions Hall to visit with you. There will also be a photographer, the one and only right here, to take pictures of friends and family. They'll sign autographs too, because I need Mr. Ferguson's autograph for that bull story. Congratulations to all of our newest members of the OSU Hall of Fame. What an elite group. Their families and friends, we congratulate you as well, and everyone who is helping make OSU a university of excellence, and that's what we are. We appreciate each of you being here. Before we conclude tonight, we would like for you to remove your name tags and put them on the table. And then anytime we have an OSU event, what do we need to do? We need to be arm in arm, and we need to sing our alma mater. Thank you all for being here, and go Pokes.